Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. We are broadcasting live here from Studio 14, serving you, Fox River Valley area. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We want to wish a farewell, of course, to Mark, but not a farewell because he's going to be around here, of course. It's Marky B's last day today here as radio host here on WRMN. But, of course, he will still be around. He's going into the South Elgin area. He'll still be around here, of course. So we'll definitely be seeing him. He'll be a part of the show still. He's still a part of the WRMN family. So, he's not really going. He's not really going, though. So we're be happy to have him here, of course. As always, you are listening to Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. I'm excited. I just want to hop right into this interview. I'm so excited for this. We have the Derrick Procell with us today. Thanks so much for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So we could say goodbye to Mark, but we can also say hello, Mojo.
Yes, hello, Mojo. That's an album you've got here.
Ding, ding, ding.
There you go. Look at this. We're hopping already into this interview because I'm very excited. So, for those of you who don't know, Derrick Procell, introduce yourself to the audience for those who don't know you.
Derrick Procell, a prolific songwriter, singer, performer, voice talent, harmonica player, pianist. I think those are all on my my business card.
You're on the list. And, of course, very well-dressed. I like your fashion style,
I'm a sharp-dressed man. Yes.
I like
every
that
woman
shirt.
crazy.
Yeah. Very nice. So tell us a little bit about what got you started in the music industry. Was it a passion you had from when you were just a little kid, or was it something that really developed over the years? Was there something that inspired you in life, a person or a place?
Wow, that's a big question.
Just starting off the interview.
I'm going to give you a big answer. No, I took piano lessons when I was a little guy in grade school, elementary school. We did not own a piano, so I was going to Catholic high school in Milwaukee, or Catholic grade school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so therefore, I had to go to the convent to practice my piano. Which, was a blessing and a curse because it kept me, very, very much disciplined in a certain way because I knew who was on the other side of the door listening while I was practicing. But my creative nature kind of wanted to bust out of that and start, playing my own stuff, you know. And so I started kind of messing around with composing songs when I was a little guy. And then... I guess by high school, the Beatles had come out and, everything changed musically. Yep. And I started exploring, all of that music, from the British invasion. I was particularly drawn to the more soulful acts that came out of there, like Eric Burdon and the Animals and Spencer Davis Group with Steve Winwood vocally. The more soulful singers, even the Stones, like that. And those were the guys that really kind of turned me on. And I guess that's kind of what helped develop my vocal styling. So, and a lot of them were blues based. I didn't even know really what that was about. And as I like to say, I was learning about the blues, from the British guys who were learning it from the guys who were 90 miles south of me here in Chicago area, guys like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and everybody. And, I didn't even realize that until later on when I started making treks down to Chicago and finding out what the source of that blues music was.
Very interesting. So so originally from Milwaukee. I've got family in Milwaukee too, so that's awesome.
I love Milwaukee.
It's
cool. I still go up there. I've got kids up there. I've got a lot of friends up there.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit more about your music experience here. Kind of diving a little bit into the blues side of things. I do believe also here too that you had eventually shifted your focus from live performances to studio recording as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it started dawning on me that what I was more interested in was the production side, the creative side. I mean, I still love to perform, and it's a tough road, especially in the blues. You've really got to kind of be dedicated enough to go out and work pretty much 8 days a week. So I was fortunate enough that when my last really full-time band had dissolved, I sort of stumbled into the wonderful world of studio work as a singer in Milwaukee, and eventually that led to me being, sort of in the mix in the Chicago jingle scene back when there were jingles, and I guess I had enough of what was kind of in style at the time, that rugged beer voice. I sang a lot of beer commercials and trucks and things like that.
Yep.
And that kind of became my calling card.
Yeah. So did you also you said you did commercials too? Did you do voice acting?
Oh, yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, I started out, singing a lot of them. I mean, everything from literally spam to cereal to, like I said, a lot of beer. And somewhere along the line, I was singing, I think, a shampoo commercial, and the advertising person said, "Hey, while you're out there, can you read that, the copy?" And I was like, "Okay." So I read the copy, and and it was kind of like, before that, the voice that you heard on commercials was it's the big voice of God, that kind of thing.
Those ones, yep.
And so I kind of lucked into that period where it was transforming to, they didn't want that. They wanted the voiceover to kind of match the music and the singing and the vibe, more natural, more whatever. So all of a sudden I'm being asked to do voiceover.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, yeah.
I bet that was a lot of fun.
Which was fortunate, because at that time, the singing was starting to go down, and the voiceover stuff was starting to take over.
Yep.
And now it's funny, because now it's kind of shifted back the other way. I'm doing more singing, more music. I do the occasional voiceover stuff. And, it's all good.
Yeah, there you go. So tell us a little bit on when it comes to singing. Is there a process you have to kind of get ready when it comes to singing? Is it kind of just come naturally to you, or do you kind of have to kind of prepare yourself a little bit?
That is a great question. As I've gotten older, and my wife will be the first one to tell you that this is true, I have, before I would just wake up and sing, and I sang the way I do. Now I actually take a little more care. I warm up. I do certain things. I use this little dealie called a nebulizer, which is a way to moisten the vocal cords. Because the way I sing, first of all, I sing pretty, pedal to the metal most of the time. So it does kind of wear on you, especially if you've got, a few gigs in a row.
Yep.
And you don't really have time for vocal rest. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of sung the same way since I was a little kid. I played my wife early on in our relationship. I played her one of the records that I made when I was like 16 years old. I went to Nashville. I went to Nashville and cut a 45, a single, right? And she's listening to this thing, and she's like halfway through the first minute, and she kind of looks at me and she goes, "Oh my God, you sounded back then like you sound now."
Oh, that's so cool. Now, what's interesting too is I'm looking at a list of the songs that were actually in movies and TV shows. I recognize so many of them. My Name is Earl, True Blood, Criminal Minds, Boston Legal, The Office. You were also movie credits included the Oscar-nominated film Lady Bird as well too. That is absolutely fantastic. So, how were you able to get those your songs into those films? Did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them?
Well, actually, I think the genesis of that was a buddy of mine, guitar player named Brett Ratner, not the film director, Brett Ratner, local guitar guy, reached out to me and said, I've got a project for a music library, and I'd like to collaborate with you on writing some stuff. So we started writing together, and most of that stuff that has been in TV shows and movies was through this one music library. And the nice thing is we just did those songs as part of a project. They do all the heavy lifting. They promote it and market it and stuff. And if something pops, something gets in a movie or TV show, as the songwriters, we get our royalties.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of nice. Yeah. In fact, we're still actually working together on some new
fun.
Projects.
Oh my gosh, that would be just such a cool thing to do. I mean, working in that kind of field with the films.
When you mentioned The Office, it's really funny because I watched The Office kind of on and off. I wasn't like a super fan. My daughter is a super fan, so lately I've been kind of catching up on all of the seasons of The Office with her, and now I'm really starting to appreciate the fact that not only did we get 2 songs in the Office, but we got 2 songs in the very final episode of the entire series.
Oh wow!
Like the ender, and we had 2 songs on that, which was pretty cool.
That's something to be that's something to be really proud of. And
yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool. I think what's also great too is that your songs have also been included in projects like by the American Cancer Society, Music from the Heart, Children's Heart Foundation. I'm sure that's also a very touching experience as well too.
Oh, absolutely. The ability to tap into not only what I'm feeling, but what other people are feeling. And if it's for a good cause, I'm there.
Yep.
I'm always there. And especially right now, where there's so much chaos and turmoil in the world around us. I think music can help to heal. Music can help to bridge the gaps, so to speak, and bring some people together. It doesn't matter what what else you're feeling, or your political alliances are, whatever. I think music can definitely be something that everybody needs.
Yes, absolutely. It can be very inspiring for people. Even just listening to one song can change someone's life. So yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your album, Hello Mojo. Look at this beautiful.
Look at that beautiful. Look at that guy.
Look at
I even brought the same hat.
Oh my goodness, in studio with us too. What a historical moment. I love it. Oh my goodness. So tell us a little bit about what some themes or experiences inspired this album, and how does it reflect your growth as an artist?
Whew. Well, the album came about in kind of a strange way. I had done a previous record, which you happen to have right there. If you want to hold that one up and show it to the folks. Look at that. There, that's called Why I Choose to Sing the Blues. And that came out in, 2016, I think, maybe something like that. So I had been writing with a fella named Terry Abramson. Terry won a Grammy writing with Muddy Waters. And we met through the wonderful world of, the jingle world. And he was a freelance producer at the time. And eventually we hooked up and started writing songs together. He reached out to me and said, I've got some lyrics. You wanna take a whack at them? And we knew kind of right away that we had something going on, Pretty much every time he'd write some lyrics and send them to me, I'd knock it out, just sit down at the piano and there you go. So a lot of those songs on that record were just demos of songs that we were trying to pitch to other blues artists. Somewhere along the line, enough of these people like Bobby Rush and some of these other blues artists kept saying to Terry, "Who is this guy, man? Why doesn't he put this out? I mean, this guy's a great singer. He should release this stuff on his own." So voila, I released it on my own. We polished up some of the songs, added some instrumentation, because a lot of that was stuff that I had produced myself in the studio. So fast forward a few years, the political situation in 2020 was pretty hot. I get a call from a mutual friend who had gotten my name from Billy Branch, Chicago legendary harmonica player, recommending me as a vocalist for a kind of a political song. So we did this during COVID, of course, so everything was, kind of remotely done. The guy who actually wrote the song was living down in Texas, and I ended up doing another song kind of the same way for the same guy, another politically infused song. So the guy who wrote the songs, his name's Bob Trenchard, and he is the owner of Cat Food Records.
Okay.
Which is what Hello Mojo is on. So I do these two songs, which were released as digital singles, and several months later, I'm driving up to Door County, got the wife in the car next to me, and I get a call from Bob Trenchard out of the blue, and he goes, I looked you up, and I've been listening to some of your other stuff. He goes, want to do an album on my label? I'm like, well, duh, let me think about it. Okay. So, yeah.
And there you go.
And so in early 22, right? 22. Yep. I went down to El Paso, and that's where we cut all of the tracks there. Some of the stuff was done here in the Chicago area.
Very nice. Now, the back of this album here, is this New Orleans?
That is actually, I believe that is a...
It does look like it's New Orleans. They recently just had Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
I don't know.
It kind of looks like it a little, maybe. Maybe?
I don't know. It kind of looks like my shirt.
Yeah. It matches your shirt very well, actually. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I've got another question to ask. So as a songwriter, when it comes to naming songs, do you name the song and then write it, or do you write the song and then name it? And how does that go usually?
Let's see. Can I see that album?
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm trying to remember what. So 4 of these songs were co-written with Terry Abramson. Skin in the Game, Hello Mojo, the title song, A Tall Glass of You, and Color of an Angel. All of which, like I said, he gives me the lyrics with the title, and there you go. 3 of these songs on this record, The Contender, Broken Promise, and Baby I'm Lost, were co-written with Bob Trenchard, the owner of the label.
Okay.
And that was part of the deal. It's like, I'll let you do a record on my label, but we're going to write some songs together. Fire away. Actually, those are very, very cool songs that a lot of people dig. 2 of the songs on here, Bittersweet Memory and I Can't Say No, are solo writers, myself. And then we have one cover song, an old Kinks rocker called Who'll Be the Next in Line.
Awesome.
So
some good names.
I guess the answer to that question is the songs already kind of have titles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty obvious titles.
Very interesting. And both these albums, of course, I love the covers of it, and I'm so glad you're able to join us today. Coming up here, actually, we've got the Raue Center for the Arts is having the music of Derrick Procell. That is a blue-eyed soul session that is coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, like I said, the way I sing is oftentimes referred to as blue-eyed soul. Those are the people that I was mostly attracted to. Kind of really shaped the way I sing. People like Felix Cavalier from the Rascals, and all built on a lot of soul music. Like we're all paying tribute to the black artists that had the soul music that inspired us. Ray Charles and James Brown et al. Jackie Wilson, and so the reason for the title of the show at the Raue is I love the Raue Center, and we're talking about the Raue Center for the Arts in beautiful downtown Crystal Lake.
Yes.
They love me there. I've performed at the Raue with a couple of different tribute shows. One called An Irish Heartbeat, which is the music of Van Morrison. I've performed there as Joe Cocker. We've done a show. I don't think we've done Mad Dogs and Englishmen there yet. We will. But I've performed there as Joe with a show called Soul Bliss. And I've also performed there as myself, as Derrick Procell. In fact, I was the artist in residence for 2024, was it 23, 24? I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, I was the artist in residence there. I got to do 4 shows where I got to really kind of spread out my artistic vision. They were all 4 different themed shows. Actually, one of the shows was really fun. I brought my co-songwriter in, Terry Abramson, and we did a show about the art of songwriting. And we talked about some of the songs and how they came to be. And the coup de grace was that we actually wrote a song based on audience suggestions in real time, right there and then. I showed the band how it might go. Terry provided me with some lyrics based on audience suggestions. That was really fun. That was one of the best shows.
Very cool. Yeah, so this is coming up very soon here. This is May 17th. You don't want to miss out on this great opportunity. It's Saturday, May 17th at 7 o'clock. Tickets are available at events.rouecenter.org. If you want to check out some more information, you could feed your soul with electrifying sounds of Derrick Procell and his all-star Mojo Band. Woo. I love it. Awesome. Folks, check out more information. Tickets are available. You can buy them now if you'd like. You can go. It's the doors are going to be opening at 6 o'clock, and then the show starts at 7 o'clock is when that's going to be.
Speaking of tickets, I believe we have a few pairs of tickets.
Yes, we do. So if you are interested, you can come pick them up here. All you have to do is stop on by, and we got some pairs for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today, everyone, and thank you, Derrick, for having coming out of the air with us.
Thank you, and I hope to see all of you out there. Let's see you at the show.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to take a quick time out, and we'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN. And if you don't mind, and once we come back from the break, I'm going to play one of your songs.
Thank you.
I think that would be great. Give people a little sneak peek on what to expect. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410 here in just a bit. Woo.